My 14-year-old, I'm trying to decide what to do because I've listened to all of her friends in the back of the car when I'm like driving them around,
Yeah.
and I think they're all lesbians.
Ah.
And it's like my 14-year-old is like, if I get straight A's, can I go back to just full-time online? And it's like,
Uh-huh.
well, based on your friends,
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yes, honey.
yeah,
Wait,
because
what
I
up?
don't know that I want you hanging around with the people that you're now hanging around with. But
They're
she's
just
also extremely
fashionably lesbian,
antisocial
dude.
and has never had friends before. But it's like, no, your friends are all dykes.
I think
It's
I think it affects girls. I'm not an expert here, but I think it
think any of
affects
us
girls
are.
more. The peer pressure aspect to it.
Yeah.
When I was like in my late teens into 20s and I was working at the movie theater, I worked with a lot of teenagers, and over that time I saw a lot of girls, like mostly girls, be totally normal and then one summer totally different. And
Yes.
then they're walking around with this pack of lesbian girls.
Yeah.
It was like a continuous cycle, and it only seemed to affect the girls.
The weird thing is
there were
they
definitely
think
gay
that
dudes,
it will
but
make them
it wasn't the
popular with
same.
the boys.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was this shit was weird with my high school as well. It's Atlanta, so it's understandable, but it was weird nonetheless. Fucking,
Oh, I love that show.
Stop it. Anyway, there's a bunch of girls. They have some normal girls that they really don't talk about the sexuality thing or anything like that. Then you had a whole bunch of girls that were like, I'm lesbian, I'm bisexual, this, that, and the other. Then you had some dudes that acted like chicks just to hang out with the chicks, and then they end up becoming like gay and bisexual and stuff. It's like, fuck this. I'm gonna graduate and leave. I don't want to see any of you all. I want to die first. Like,
that's when it's like, because I worked with two lesbians, and they were just normal ass people because they exist. They're just working their job. They were cool people. They never did like the weird stuff. But then it seemed like, and they were like a little older. It just seemed like in high school there was this peer pressure aspect to it, that they would just become lesbian, cut their hair, wear certain clothes because they wanted to seem cool, and they wanted to seem like, oh, I'm part of this group. These girls like me.
We used to call those goth chicks.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, okay, back when I was a teenager, if everybody was stuck being emo and like you got an emo haircut, and you couldn't change your haircut for the rest of your life, that'd be a problem. That would be a problem. There'd be a lot of losers walking around right now.
Yeah.
But it's very different now. It's a different trend.
I had dreads in high school, so I think I'd be canceled.
If you were stuck with them, they were like Joe Dirt stuck to your head. That would suck.
Listen,
you'd be like, I changed as a person. I grew. I didn't want to have dreadlocks anymore.
It's YouTube.
Too bad.
Everybody's gay once in a while.
Everybody gay once in a while.
No, but I'm serious. I mean, my daughter, my 14-year-old joined the softball team. She has no interest in girls.
Well, there you go.
But 90% of the softball team is lesbians.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those chicks
apparently. Or they're identifying as bisexual. None of them are actual lesbians. None of them are actually interested in chicks. I mean,
right? Yeah, it's a trend.
That's the reality of it. It's what is
fashionably
expected
gay.
of high school girls at this point. You are bisexual or lesbian, and that's how you attract the guys. And it's like, no, we're not doing this.
That also extends with what Shagsworth was talking with Buck about. People are like quote unquote transitioning not to be the other sex. They're transitioning to become transgender. They just want to be something different.
Yeah, they want to be different to do the same sex that they would have been doing as their natural sex.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a really good, what's his name? Jonathan Haidt did a really great study on this, or I don't know if he did this. He didn't do the study, but he was compiling information on this study on social contagion with young girls and how they're just way more affected by this than young boys are. And that's really the issue, is that it's becoming this trend, and it's not so bad when it's just stuck to like when it's just like, hey, I just want to experiment with something. The issue becomes when you have doctors that are convincing people to to do things that are life altering. That's the big thing, because and that, and I think a big part of it is that's why we say, like, nuclear family. It's so important that mom and dad are involved and have a good relationship with their kids, because their kids can confide in them and, like, hey, this is going on, like,
support system,
right? The support system, like, hey, I'm confused by this. All my friends are talking about this stuff. Like, what do I do? Like, when you don't have that, when the kid doesn't feel like they have that, that's when you start losing them. Mad's here. What's up, Mad?
I heard we were talking gay shit.
What's up,
Yes,
Momo?
all the gays.
It's like
wondering,
you and
Rachel-
volleyball players with no tops on.
Hello, 1/4 Black Garrett. It's been a while.
I know, dude. It's been freaking forever, bro.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
One of the things that my mother taught me growing up is that I had
wash your ass.
Like, aside from
Shave your
that,
mustache off.
there were multiple father figures throughout my childhood, primarily because my brothers and I have different fathers. But she said that, like, she can teach you everything from, like, her own perspective, but she can't teach you things from a man's perspective. And that's something that I learned early, and I started paying more attention to what my father figure, who I'm going to call my father, because I actually love that man like a father. Like, I learned a lot from him, and I learned a lot from her, which is why I'm not completely retarded. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of, like, motherless behavior, a lot of fatherless behavior going on with a lot of people, and I want no part of it. That's why I am going to be with the person I'm with, and it's going to be that way. I'm not leaving her.
Mama or Amarada?
Yeah.
Yes, Mama Amarat. No,
I thought you were looking for a parental person. I don't
want to be with the person I'm with for the rest of my life. That's horror.
That's called dedication, brother.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like, I totally agree with that. It's very important to have both of those aspects when you're growing up. From somebody that I have the benefit of having a great mother and father that stuck there and was with me throughout my whole childhood and all my brother's childhoods, but they didn't. My dad didn't. He was his dad left him when he was very young, and then he got a stepdad, but then he ran around and wasn't sticking around. This is the black side of my family, surprising enough.
No, really?
And it really is a benefit, because, like, your mothers, they're fantastic, they're powerful, they're able to teach children so many great things. But when you're, especially for a boy, when you go from being a child to a man, you need that father figure.
Yeah,
you need
100%.
that male, because mothers, they want to keep their children safe, so they say no, they don't let them go as far, they don't do all these things because they want to keep them safe, which is their tendency, which makes sense. That's what they want to do. But it's the father's job to take them out and say, no, let's get a little wild, let's go try things.
Or t-ball, baseball, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I coached little league t-ball for 4 and 5 year olds, and you know what I mean. I think it's important, if you don't have that access to a father figure in the home, there are ways that you can still have that influence on your kids, if you can get them in. That's why organized sports is so important, because that coach becomes
Social
almost
skills.
that
coaches.
that
Positive
figure,
male role model.
Exactly.
And maybe not every child needs that coach to be that role model because they have a dad, but some do. You know,
exactly.
Some really do.
Right.
So it's really useful to be active in your social space, the places around you.